A Mario game developed by Square Enix sounds like an impossibility these days, but this unique combo actually happened way back in 1996 on the SNES. This is from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, a classic game from the SNES and many people's introduction into RPGs. And after almost 30 years, this game has gotten a full remake on the Nintendo Switch. As someone who's never experienced the original, does this remake still make the game enjoyable in 2023, or did we not really need this? This remake is faithful and one-to-one with the original game in almost every way. With that in mind, the content of this game is also similar. The area design, towns, and everything are exactly like what they looked back on the SNES game, so don't expect a whole overhaul and a brand new experience of them compared to a remake like Final Fantasy VII's where they took the entire game and completely redesigned how all of the areas were. The story of this game isn't some super incredible narrative that will leave an impact on your life or anything, but it's still an enjoyable, wholesome one that you should be able to get behind. A new villain threat comes into Mario's world, and you need to find these 7 stars scattered across the world in order to save it. Seeing even Bowser having to realize that he needs to aid Mario this time is just a fun premise that I found cool, and I especially love the new characters Mallow and Geno. Both of them have their own unique backgrounds too, so I really enjoyed learning about these characters, and it's nice to kind of see these fresh types of characters that you don't really get in a Mario game. The pacing throughout this game is also great, so you won't have to worry about doing anything boring just to progress forward. The entire adventure can be completed in about 15 to 20 hours, which I found to be reasonable, but if you're someone who really cares about how many hours you get out of the money that you spend on a game, you might want to wait for a sale instead of paying the full $60, as you might find the game to be a little too short to your liking. Besides the main adventure to find the 7 stars, there really isn't a ton of additional content within this game. You can play some fun mini games and get some rare collectibles, but there aren't a bunch of other extra activities to do either. When it comes to gameplay, as the name implies, this is an RPG, so expect a lot of battling enemies, reading text boxes, and learning about characters' stories. If this type of stuff doesn't sound fun to you, and you're more into having action in terms of your games, this might not be the type of game that you would enjoy. Honestly, this game is a great introduction to what a typical RPG game is like, down to a simpler level. A cast of characters to use as party members in battle, combat where you give commands to each of them, and customizing their equipment and stats when they level up. If you're someone looking to get into RPGs, this is definitely a great place to start at, and would also be for young players who can't just jump into something like a Final Fantasy right away. Combat in battles is turn-based, with you picking your attacks and then the enemy going after, but you can also gain extra bonuses if you time your attacks correctly by pressing the button at the right moment to deal extra damage and even block enemy attacks. This remake also has something new called triple attacks, where when you fill a meter throughout battles, you can unleash a combo attack using all party members to deal major area damage, tons of damage to a single target, block enemy attacks, and a lot of other cool benefits. I didn't play the original, but I was a big fan of this inclusion in the remake. As for the difficulty, this game is really easy, even on normal mode, but it does have an even easier mode for the beginners. If you're someone who really likes very close, difficult battles where you have to strategize a lot, this is definitely not the type of RPG for you, as you'll be able to defeat these bosses pretty easily. There is, however, another new addition in this remake, being post-game boss rematches. Now these battles do give bosses more HP, stronger attacks, and offer a challenge more like a typical RPG game, so it could be something that you might have to consider. Graphics-wise, this game looks beautiful. Everything has been recreated from the ground up in 3D, and it looks great. Character sprites from the original game are now these cute little chibi models, and I think it works really well for how the game looks. With everything being one-to-one, it still does feel very much like an SNES game with a coat of HD 3D paint over it, so it may not feel like a brand new modern Switch game, but it definitely still works here. The technical image quality and performance is also one of the few games on the Switch that really actually reaches its cap in both handheld and docked mode. That means 720p 60fps in handheld and 1080p 60fps on the TV. There are some instances in towns especially where you'll notice some dips in the frame rate here and there, but it's nothing in battle or anything that ruins your overall experience with the game. So honestly, I don't really have anything to complain really with the visuals for this game. The music of even the original Super Mario RPG has been loved by people for years. Even not having played the original game, I can recognize some of its iconic themes in many YouTube videos and other instances where they're used. And now in the remake, this entire soundtrack has been recreated for a new audience and it sounds amazing. The battle themes are catchy, the area themes feel full, and even the sound effects still have that SNES charm even though they've been remade. The best part, however, is the game comes with an amazing option in the settings to toggle between the original music and the new music. For Nintendo remakes, you don't really see this feature appear as often as it should, so I was very pleased with it. I played the game with the new music, but I'd love to replay it again sometime, this time with the original music toggled on so I can get a more authentic SNES vibe. I really hope that more Nintendo remakes in the future are going to be using this feature going forward. Controls in this game feel very responsive and well done. The UI has been overhauled to display health bars, stats, and menus in a very clean and organized way. Really, the only thing that still felt a little bit clunky to me was this Boshi racing minigame where it felt like I was pressing the A and B buttons exactly like how I was supposed to, but it just wasn't registering them correctly. But maybe that was something with like the input delay on my TV or something like that, but it just felt a little bit kind of clunky to play this game. But besides that, the controls of like the combat, moving around in the world and everything feel very nicely done. In the end, Super Mario RPG was yet another fun game to add into the mix of incredible 2023 games. While the game doesn't have anything to really put it into that amazing masterpiece tier for me, I don't really mind that. This was just a very fun and wholesome game that you can have a good time with. With so many RPGs and other adventure games having many stress-inducing elements and important details to keep track of with its story, it's nice to just have a chill game like this that you can enjoy. Honestly, this is just the perfect game where if you had a long day of work or school classes, you can just come home, sit on your couch or bed and get comfy, turn off your brain and play this game for a couple hours, and I really love it for that. It isn't some must-play game that everyone has to experience, but it's definitely one where I am happy to say that I did play it for the first time through this remake, and now I get to maybe dream about one day potentially seeing a Super Mario RPG 2. But yeah, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of my thoughts on the Super Mario RPG remake for the Nintendo Switch. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm going to be having more Nintendo videos in the future. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this game. Did you play the original on the SNES? Are you playing the remake for the first time as well? What are your thoughts about it? Did you guys like it? Did you not like it? How do you feel about everything? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys would rate this game out of 10 as well. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.